CP.
Are you serious?
He's gone. 40, 30, Portis all the way. Touchdown Redskins, 64 yards.
26 minutes.
He's pretty sharp. You know, he'll coach you up on the Miami guys and everything else. He's kind of fun to be around. Got an opinion too.
You know, I've been blessed to have the opportunity to go out and be myself and say the things that I say. And, you know, for the outside world, they can deal with it how they deal with it.
26 minutes with Clinton Portis. CP. Teach him something.
Welcome to 26 Minutes, episode number 40. I'm Clinton Portis, and I know you all see a special guest in the house today. We're blessed by Larry Michael. No Monica McNutt, no Jake Creighton Trifles, but we're here. And Larry, I've been waiting on this opportunity. I want to put you on the hot seat. So
no holds
bad,
barred,
man.
huh?
I've been wanting to put you on the hot seat, so I'm not on your show. You don't control it, but thanks for joining me, man.
I'm just waiting a long time myself. This is a long time coming.
Hey, well, I'm glad you're finally here to bless the set of 26 Minutes, episode 40. And couldn't have it with a better person.
I get automatic updates for the podcast, too. I get it every time they download. They just pop up on my phone.
That's good, but do you listen to them?
Yes. Why do you think I just hit the pop-up and I don't want to listen to this?
I'm just saying, who knows? Sometimes the podcasts pop up on mine.
I don't know. Who's your favorite podcast other than you?
I don't really listen to podcasts. Every now and then, you know, like the Drink Champs, stuff that you wouldn't listen to.
The Drink Champs?
Yeah, the
What's
Drink
that about?
Champs. It's
alcohol? Alcohol?
No, it's not alcohol. It's a rapper.
Oh, okay.
I used to listen to Breakfast Club. So, you
Cool.
know, it's not really a podcast.
Cool.
But Redskins news. So we're going to start out. A couple weeks ago, Jay Gruden makes a comment, no playoffs, he won't be around. How do you look into that?
Well, I mean, you know, he said it jokingly, but you had to feel.
Truth be told.
You had to feel when he said it that he might feel that way. You know what? There's so many scenarios. How can you of course, every team, and especially this team, wants to go to the playoffs. This team did not finish strong for a variety of reasons last year, and he's the head coach of the team. I think maybe he's putting some pressure on himself. Maybe he's trying to find new ways of motivating. I think I think he's got a good roster. I think they've drafted well. So I think they're going to want to compete. But if you're not competitive, then you never know what's going to happen. If you're competitive, depending on how it turns out, you never know how it's going to happen. So I think it's not black and white. But I think he painted a gray area there, CP, that you had to recognize.
So a big issue with this team, and the reason they're not getting to the playoffs, is injuries. The last two seasons, I think they've been the most injury-prone team. 24, 25 guys going on IR both times. So when you look at injuries, you've already took a major hit this offseason and losing Reuben Foster, who everyone was excited about. When you walk around, when you enter this building, you see Reuben Foster drenched in sweat at all times. So he was putting the work in. How big of a blow is that for this defense?
Oh, man. Well, you know, it's a big blow. It's a big blow because you get to know him and to know how hard, like you said, and he's got great attitude. Hadn't been easy for him at all. His whole life hadn't been easy, really, but he's the kind of guy that has overcome adversity every step of the way, and a real good football player, too, at a position of need. So, again, though, you know, all these injuries, you've been around. I remember, what year was it? Preseason game number 1. It was a Hall of Fame game, and the tackle, Jansen, blew his Achilles out in the first You get hurt in that? No, you got hurt.
I got hurt against
Cincinnati preseason game. But it's the way it is. You know, you see guys get hurt, and it's going to be hard to replace him.
Speaking of a guy getting hurt, a major scare early in the offseason when the news comes out about Trent Williams, a guy who's been a staple for this organization for quite some time. And all of a sudden, Trent Williams missing, requesting a new deal. At this stage, given Trent's injury history and the scare with the brain, do you see a new deal for
I
Silver?
don't know if he had a scare with his brain, though. I mean, are you saying that? You know that's the case? I don't know
It came out. The news that he had.
I thought it was some kind of look. He had a medical issue.
Yeah, his medical issue.
He had a medical issue, and whatever it is, you don't want to. You know, I don't want to speculate on his medical issue. This is a better team with him here. You know, and I don't know. I don't know enough about it. If he's actually, and I've communicated with him, but not recently. If this is about making more money, then it's a business issue. If it's something other than that, and you hope it works itself out because they're a much better team. I mean, again, it's just like when I hear, they want to trade. We got to get rid of Josh Norman. Well, who you got going to put in there? If you remove one of your top players, yeah, somebody will play, and maybe it won't be as expensive. But are you going to get the same results you're going to get? No, with Trent Williams. If he's not the best, he's one of the best.
So when you look at guys at this stage, speaking of Josh Norman, that's a great name to bring up. You look at Josh, you look at Jordan Reed, you look at Trent. These guys are getting on the latter side of their career, where I'm not sure they're going to have better days or better seasons than they've already had. And at some point, you have to look to Vernon Davis as well. He's still at a high motor, high energy guy, but at the same time, these guys are getting up in age. And, in football, it's who's up next.
It's the reality of the game. So I think everybody has to cross that, bridge when they get to it. I think the team, again, looking at this particular team, who's your other tight ends? And Jordan Reed has proven to be outstanding when healthy. And last year he played 13 games. He gets 16. I know he's been around here quite a bit. I think he's very committed to playing the season and being at top level. And the same thing goes for Josh. Josh had a long conversation with Josh yesterday. And, corners are divas, right? Corners are a little bit divas.
I would think Fred Smoot would be a great name to come to mind.
That'd be a good one. And wide receivers are divas. Some wide receivers are divas too.
Wide receivers can be divas.
Some of them.
Some running backs can be divas.
Absolutely. I would say if I had to say running back 26, wide receiver 89, 26 was the diva of that pair.
I don't know, because I was the muscle.
Not a diva at all. Tanner doesn't have a diva bone in his body.
I was the muscle as well now, Larry.
You brought the hammer.
I was the diva and the muscle now.
You were a diva in your own way,
yeah.
But not diva in the traditional sense like a corner would be a diva, So I had a long conversation with Josh, and you know what? The guy is ripped and he's ready to go. I don't see who are you going to put out there, and I think he likes Ray Horton. I think this is when you're not here and you don't get to know anybody, when you don't attend the off season, and he just got a chance to meet Ray Horton, and he says, man, I think Ray Horton reminds me of Coach Wilkes, he's an older guy, and really a voice of credibility. And Ray Horton, I talked to the guy a bunch. I mean, he's easy to like. He's a very smart guy, loves conveying knowledge, completely different from a Jim Tom Sula, who's kind of a raving type of guy. Ray Horton is a much more calculated, and I think that's going to help that DB room. I think Josh Norman will excel this year. So who are you going to – you got to pay – look, I'm not hating on them because they're making the most money on the team. I'm never going to do that because they earn that money. But you get to the point when you get at the end of your career, a team is going to have to make the decision on – you face that. I mean, you could have. I mean, you faced it in a different way because you were banged up and you weren't. You were getting recurring nagging injuries, and I think.
Yeah, so for me, it was the difference in me was I requested. I didn't feel that I had the same energy in me to go out and play this game. A lot happened in those 2-3 years consecutive. You lose Sean. Like, it was so much happened to me in such a short period of time that when it came time after coming off 2 injury seasons, it just wasn't there. I didn't have that. I didn't want to get up in the morning and come back. Some of these guys still have that attitude. Right. They want to be around. They want to. For me, it was I missed 2 seasons, and all of a sudden you get to be a father. You get to start doing father duties. You start participating in daily activities that you haven't been a part of your entire career, and all of a sudden football becomes second. And once you put football second, it's over. Football has always been first in most athletes' lives. You go through college, you go into the NFL, especially when you're trying to be the best. So once you get to that level and football becomes second, I can't cheat you. When I had the conversation with Mr. Snyder about releasing me, he said, no, this is not a good idea. I said, Dan, you've blessed me. I wouldn't be the man that I am if I had to go out because I can't perform. For you, in my mind, I don't want to do it. You see what I'm saying? It's a difference when I want to do it. When Coach Gibbs talking to me and he put his hand on my shoulder and say, Clinton, we need you, then I can run through this wall.
Yeah.
But now I don't have that same want to.
Isn't an athlete in any sport, when they have to either face what you did or face the opposite, where a guy is busting his butt to try to make the team a veteran and he's trying to squeeze 1 year out of his career, and then he's part of the last cuts. You didn't, with complete. But isn't that transition when you finally have to decide that this is your life changing now, something you worked your whole life? When did you start playing football, CP? You probably played
9th grade. So you start in 9th grade. 9th grade.
Yeah.
So you go 4 years of high school, then you go 3 years of college, then 9 years in the NFL. You got to think some kids start fourth, fifth grade. They're playing Pee Wee, Pop Warner, and all of a sudden that's another 5 years.
It's your whole life, though.
Exactly.
It's your whole life. But unlike me, who went to college to figure out what I wanted to do, you grew up at about 8th grade, thinking or knowing. Maybe you didn't know, but you have all the kids. Any kid that's playing in high school, some of the kids that play in high school think they can play in the pros, but obviously there's a long way to bridge that. But think of how unique that is for any athlete, whether they're getting cut because they want to squeeze 1 year, when they have to face the music and have to move on. And so guys like Trent Williams, I don't want to lump them all together. They're all different. And Josh is here, and Josh practiced had a pick yesterday. Jordan is here. Jordan, his first year, he hadn't had an off-season procedure. He's coming along slow. So I think Jordan's set for a good year. And Trent, as Coach said, and that was the big question yesterday, and I don't think I saw him here today. Is he here today? No, I don't think so.
Well, speaking of guys that are here, guys that in moving on, guys that's not at the latter part of their career. They're in the beginning of their career, but they're receiving a lot of attention, a lot of hype surrounding these guys. Haskins being brought in. You look at every article come out praising him. You think that's a lot of attention? I mean, a lot of responsibilities to put on a young guy at this stage?
Yes. But I'll be honest with you, and again, here every day, he's kind of kept his head down, and he's went about his business. He hasn't been trying to hot dog anything. He's been really a serious hard worker, and he went to all the community events too that they have the rookies do. So there's no diva in him, at least not yet. I mean, I think he's a very, very serious kid who's smart, who has great physical ability. And I was having a conversation with some fans last night saying, are they going to sit him the first year, or is Case going to play? And that's everybody's, you know what? If you watch him throw the football, he's got touch. He could put it on a rope. If you watch him, I don't know how he doesn't play if you just watch him. But
when you're putting it on the rope with no pads on, it's totally different. I would expect. I remember Coach Shanahan used to say, "You don't have on pads, no one is getting tackled. No ball should ever touch the ground."
That's true. That's true. I see guys running in 7-on-7, the quarterback scrambling for a run. There was a guy who used to take it to the house there and think it was a great run. In 7-on-7, the quarterback on a busted play runs 50 yards for a touchdown. The old timers say they laugh at that. Why would you do that? That was not this guy, though.
Yeah, I understand.
It's some other guy.
Let's pay some bills, and we're going to pick up on this conversation, Larry. Come on.
All right. I got some reads here. I'll try to do as good as Jake. Son, fun, a private yacht. Clinton Portis' personal life? No. Three great things that could be yours with a luxury cruise and scratcher from the Virginia Lottery. If you win one of the 4 private yacht experiences, you and up to 7 friends will set sail off of Florida on a yacht featuring a 24-hour captain, crew, personal chef. You'll have flexible port options and access to motorized watercraft. The $5 luxury cruise and ticket features 3 instant win private yacht experiences and a 4th one available in a second chance drawing. There's also $12 million in cash prizes in the entire game. Take your summer from boring to luxurious with the luxury cruise and scratcher from the Virginia Lottery. And helping people improve their lives is what should drive business. That's the belief at Koch Industries, which employs more than 65,000 people across America. The team at Koch works together to meet the world's changing needs in transportation, medical care, water filtration, household goods, energy-efficient building products, and everyday technologies, all while consuming fewer resources. See the innovations firsthand at KOCHindustries.com.
Back on 26 Minutes, episode 40, joined by Larry
What happened
Michael.
to your crew?
They bailed on me. They're getting big time. So Monica is so big time.
She is big time. I know that.
This is the issue with me and Monica. We're really beefing right now because she called in sick. Now Monica is a former athlete, and she know there's no sick days in sports, and that's the text that I sent. She called in sick.
Oh, I thought
you have to come to the office when you're in sports. If you're sick, lay on the couch. Do whatever you have to do on the couch, but you have to be here. So, Monica, I am very upset that you didn't make it.
You listening, Monica? I know you're listening. Is Monica a millennial, Stevie? She's probably older than a millennial. Is she a millennial, Monica? I know, certainly I am no longer a millennial.
No, I think Monica is a millennial.
She's a millennial.
Yeah, her and Jake would be millennials. Jake tells me 5 minutes before I pull up.
He's sick. He's here, but he's here.
No, he's not in here, so he's absent. If he can get the work done in the back office and write articles, then he could have been on the show.
Yeah, but he's laboring a little bit. You know, get a guy like here's not feeling well. He could infect the whole room. The whole room would be, and then the next group, everybody gets. All of a sudden, everybody's sick. So,
well, we need to quarantine, Jake.
I need to have everybody sick to get an invitation on CP's show. That's the only time I get on the show.
No, actually, you could come anytime. But we were having some good conversation. Let's pick back up Haskins. And speaking of his weapons, so you have all of these guys: Sims, McLaurin, Quinn, Harmon, Geis, and Love. So when you look at all of these guys are rookies. Geis, Quinn, Sims, they were here last year but didn't play in 4 games. Yeah. So they're still rookies.
Right.
The expectations, when you put a new regime on the field, so you put Haskins on, you got Geis in the backfield. The hype around Sims for his playmaking ability. Yeah. Trey Quinn, we saw what he was capable of last year. Then you bring in speed with McLaurin. You have Harmon, who slipped in the draft.
Clutch receiver.
So you're giving this guy weapons, and these are the keys for the future. How do you see this playing out, especially Geis and Love? I love Love.
Well,
I
Love is
enjoy
not going to
watching
be.
Love at Stanford.
He's not going to be ready to go. So he'll.
That's right now. But for the future, he will.
I mean, look. Here's what you got. You got 8 running backs. Pretty simple. AP and Geis. Geis is like a rookie. He played the very beginning of the first preseason game. That's it. He is so wound up so tight that I think you got a great weapon in Geis. Maybe you have to obviously get Chris Thompson on the field, third down back. I don't like running back by committee, but I think you're going to have to give AP some touches, and Geis is just going to have to feel his way along. He hadn't played, so maybe that's a way to work him in. Wide receiver, Cam Sims, blessing in disguise when a guy hurts. First kickoff of the first game, high ankle sprain, doesn't play the rest of the year. He is physically more mature than he was last year. Up top, he's bigger, he's stronger. Been a year in the weight room for him. So I expect big things out of Cam Sims because he was a star of the offseason last year. Never got a chance to show it. Of course, Jamison Crowder last year, banged up, contract year. Wasn't the normal Jamison Crowder we'd seen. Quinn looks like he can step right in there and do what he needs to do. McLaurin, to me, is the guy that you got to be really excited about. Jay raves about him being able to run every route. 4.3 speed. You had one deep threat in Paul Richardson last year. He got banged up. McLaurin, it looks to be a physically stronger player. And then Harmon. I think you have a great young group of receivers, but is Haskins going to start the first game?
So
is Haskins going to start the first game? How would you know? Right here, right now, and you say, what do you think?
For me, I don't put Haskins in the first game. You look at the first 5 games for the Washington Redskins. That schedule is brutal. Yeah. And you're asking your young guy, your future, to go out, and he could possibly go 0-5, right? Let's say, knock on wood, that
he could go 5-0 too. Anything's possible.
It's impossible to go 5-0. That's what
it's
it is.
Impossible to go
5-0. It's impossible to go 5-0.
With Case Keenum at the quarterback, you couldn't win a couple games?
Yeah.
You never win a couple games?
You could win a couple games with anyone at quarterback, but you're not going 5-0 with that brutal schedule. That's impossible. Like, I would bet everything I own, everything I have.
Highly not probable.
So when you look at this situation, for me, you bring in Case Keenum. Case Keenum last year, behind your guy, was the hottest quarterback on the market, right?
He was.
And
Denver didn't.
You go into a system that's not suitable that's not suited for Case Keenum.
Right.
That's not a high-power offense. Case Keenum needs to spread the ball around, have some explosion. They trade Thomas in the middle of the season. Sanders was injured. Their offensive line was horrible. So, to me, that was a setup for failure because I know
Right.
Case Keenum can play football.
And Elway runs the show, so he wanted to get a new quarterback in there, and that was it. And the Redskins did a good deal to get Case Keenum. But you watch practice now, and you watch these two guys. It's hard not to get excited about Dwayne Haskins and how he plays the quarterback position. But like they said, he hadn't taken previous to now. He's never called the play in a huddle because at Ohio State they had that everybody looked at the sideline and they waggle the play in routine. So he never called any plays, and most of his plays were in the shotgun. So it does kind of have you thinking that, experience would really help this guy. He's a hard worker. He's super smart. Can't blame him for what he wasn't taught or the system he was in before. He had 53 touchdowns last year. What more do you want him to do in that system?
Yeah, but call from the sideline. If
that's what I'm saying.
Every time I walk up to the line of scrimmage, my coach has the pressure of putting me in the best position to score a touchdown. My coach is going to call a play that's going to be successful against what he sees.
That's why my old-time Sonny would say, he doesn't understand how the quarterbacks don't call the plays. As soon as he come out of the huddle, he would know exactly what the play call would have been. He'll change. He'll do whatever. These guys now, they get the play. They come out of the huddle. And this is why you maybe want to see a quarterback get a little grooming. Because can you imagine the kitchen sink that they would throw at him, a rookie starter in that first 5 games of the year? Can you imagine the defenses they're going to throw at him? The Bears are week 3. Cowboys are week 2. Philly's week 1.
You don't have
Jim
to
Schwartz.
tell me all of these
Schwartz.
teams are coming. Then you look at having Kirk Cousins in this system, and Kirk Cousins with the success he had in the couple 4,000-yard seasons he had, he didn't call his own plays.
No.
So how do you expect me to think Dwayne Haskins is going to come out in week 1 and take control of the reins and he's never called the play before, Larry?
So you're leaning towards Case Keenum, aren't you?
Yeah, I am leaning towards Case Keenum.
I am too, but I think, again, how long can you stick? I mean, again, and I like Case. I really like Case. Case is almost the perfect guy for this position. I would have said Alex is the perfect guy for this position because he lived this in Kansas City, but obviously he's not available. But Case got super strong mentally. The guy is super strong mentally, which I think you need. And, obviously you come into the season, best case scenario is the Redskins win every game in Case the quarterback, and next year Dwayne's ready to go, and that's how it goes. It ain't going to turn out that way. Something's going to happen. That's why you look at the defense here. What Kirk Cousins didn't have when he was the quarterback here was a defense like this defense here this year now. It's going to be a good defense. Now, you lose Reuben Foster, but you've gained Montez Sweat. I mean, that's a good-looking player, and I think they'll use him very smart. I think you might see Ryan Anderson, Montez Sweat, and Kerrigan on the field at the same time this year because Anderson needs to play.
That would be good. But when you look at this situation, Anderson being on the field, finally getting an opportunity, Montez Sweat as well, again, another guy that comes in and the city, the organization, turn over the keys.
I'm excited with that guy.
I'm actually excited about Sweat as well because we needed a Russian.
Your guy, Smoot, introduced me to him in February, and we started talking, and it was like, Redskins got to draft Montez Sweat. I said, who? Didn't know. Well, you probably knew who he was since you're the college football maniac that you are. But to look at the guy and to meet him and to know that he's all about football. I mean, he's imposing, he's committed, and he's got a lot to learn too, though. And how many rookies have we seen? I like to say, on paper, you're talking about all this is on paper right now.
But it's best to make your mistakes on the field. I think everyone that we've talked about is allowed to make their mistakes on the field except for Haskins. Because if this city or this fan base begins to boo Haskins, or we start out 0-3 or 0-2 with Haskins at the helm, and everybody start calling for his neck, you put yourself in a tough position.
Why are you talking about booing? Why are you talking about booing? I mean, come on,
I'm being realistic.
You ever get booed?
Yeah.
By who?
I've
never heard you booed.
I have been booed.
I've never heard you booed. Maybe at a private event somewhere you were booed, but I've never seen you booed at a game. I was there for every one of your games, man.
I never got booed at a game because I always left it on the field. You couldn't find
you never
any
got
lag
booed.
in
Where'd
me.
you get booed at?
And
Maybe you did an event in Philly or something and they booed you?
Yeah, definitely. I did the draft in Philly. They booed me.
Have you heard about Creighton Farms, the private club community that's home to the Redskins? Creighton Farms is just 20 minutes from Dulles, but a world away. On top of its award-winning Jack Nicklaus signature golf course, pools, tennis courts, and other resort-style amenities, you'll find custom homes and villas that are simply extraordinary, starting at $1.5 million. For property and legal information, visit CreightonFarms.com, or, better yet, visit Creighton Farms. Are uninvited pests ruining your plans? Let PMSI, the pest control partner of the Washington Redskins, handle it for you. Call today for your free inspection, and they'll work around your schedule to provide you the best solution possible to defend your home territory against pests of all kinds, including mold. Visit mypmsi.com for the game plan to control the pests on your home turf. That's mypmsi.com.
10 seconds left. John, more ways to inbound.
Sammy Wynn behind home plate. 1 out to go. More ways throws.
Wynn shoots. It's up. More ways to win.
More ways to win. More ways to win.
More ways to.
If you have atrial fibrillation, you know it can be difficult to treat successfully. Innova Heart and Vascular Institute in Fairfax is a leader in AFib treatment using specialized technology and expertise. This helps to more precisely target and treat rhythm irregularities that others could miss, helping to restore your heartbeat to normal. Give your heart the benefit of care. Visit innovaheart.org/AFib to learn more and to find an Innova physician. Innova. Join the future of health.
I'm trying to meet that boy Clinton Portis, though. They say that boy, they say he's smooth on his feet. I'm trying to teach him something.
Teach him something.
Teach him something.
You watch basketball, Larry?
I've been watching, and the last game really puzzled me. It looked like they drained the gas tank on the Raptors after that start. Was the first quarter? I forget what it was, but they were up like 12. And then, oh my gosh, I mean, Steph Curry was just ridiculous, quick. And Leonard looks slow and tired, and it just happened. It seemed to me it happened during a game.
Well, every time Leonard begins to look tired, he comes out and performs even better. The man finished with 34 points. His supporting cast disappeared. But I asked you about basketball to say, let's get to the antics, because on this show we talk about everything.
Anything you want, man. What's the best thing I've seen or anything like that?
Right? No, you have Drake on the sidelines, who's been getting a lot of attention.
Yeah.
And for you, being a man with some gray hairs, that means you've been around. Do you think these antics help basketball or hurt basketball? Because now you have entertainers. Because I instantly say I like it because I think of Spike Lee. I think of Jack Nicholson in L.A. These are two Knicks, L.A. Now all of a sudden Toronto has a guy that's just as annoying. Spike Lee and Jack Nicholson been doing this forever.
That's our boy at the stadium.
Yeah, not Hugh. Hugh, that was a free shout out to you.
Get that man a suite. I agree with you. I mean, I used to love it when it was Showtime, the Lakers, because it was Showtime because you had Magic and a great team, and you had all the stars there. Spike Lee, I don't know, Spike Lee, Reggie Miller, you remember that was the thing, and that, Spike Lee, great at what he does, and Drake, great at what he does. My only issue with Drake is if he's going to touch somebody, or he's going to
he massaged the coach.
If he's going to get close enough to touch somebody, and that person might be on the other team, you really are playing with fire. Because if I'm Draymond Green and I'm buddies with Drake, maybe they're friends.
They are friends. That's what I feel. It's the antics of it.
Maybe there's a guy, maybe the other guy he's not friends with. Maybe they got a guy on the bench who's playing for the first time, and he screws something up, and all of a sudden Drake gets in his face and touches him. I don't know. They're almost asking for an incident to happen. So you better have your security close by. That's what I'm telling you. Because Drake takes himself a little seriously. He thinks he's an athlete. So, you know him?
No, I don't. I don't personally know him.
Take him to the hole. I know. If you play basketball with him, he had no shot on you.
Yeah, I mean, he's too small. He got to get his weight up. Yeah. But look, speaking of getting your weight up, so Deontay Wilder we had at Super Bowl. You're huge
stuff,
on boxing, right?
Yeah.
So Deontay Wilder we got at Super Bowl, and
love him.
The TKO, the punches he threw.
Oh my God, Brazil didn't belong in there anyway.
So when you look at Brazil, he didn't stand a chance.
No.
Deontay Wilder has been trying to set the stage up to get to Anthony Joshua. He said on the show, Anthony Joshua was dodging him, wouldn't leave the UK, didn't want anything. Anthony Joshua finally comes to the States. Perfect opportunity to see Wilder and Joshua goes out and lay down.
Lay down. Quit. I can't tell you how bad. I watched that fight on the Zone on the app. I watched my phone that night, and here's Andy Ruiz. I don't know how you could describe his body type. Endomorph. I think he's severely overweight. No cut, no muscles, muscular at all.
He was like Hungry Hippo on Tyson Punch-Out.
And big old tat across his chest, maybe trying to hide some flab. And he came into the fight high on Snickers. He says Snickers motivates him. This is this guy's little thing he does. And then for him to take Joshua's heart away, just took his heart, hit him behind the ear in the third round after getting knocked down, got up, put Joshua down twice. I think Joshua wanted to quit then because he'd never been in. And you know what he did? He got right up in fourth round that kind of took off. But then in the sixth round, he started hitting Joshua to the body. Joshua has no inside defense. He's bent over. His head's wide open. And it was just a matter of time. But then for him to sit in the corner with his arms up there, and the referee said, "Do you want to continue?"
And he waved him off.
No, he did this. He did one of these, and people can't. I guess you're videoing. He did this. Barely could move. Horrible bite. Do you want to continue? And he's like this, almost like.
Oh, but
yes,
if you're
no,
getting
yes,
punched
no.
in your body, like
he quit.
To take
he laid down. You said it.
The first time we saw Tyson lose, right? No one knew that would begin a trend of losing.
But he took it on the chin, man. He didn't quit.
Definitely took it on the chin.
He didn't quit.
But I was at the fight here in D.C. where Tyson did quit.
Yes. Yeah, I was there.
It was later in his career, but he quit.
You were mad. I was in the row in front of you, and you were mad that night. I was in the row in front of you.
Yeah, I was mad because I bought 20 tickets, front row seats, to come to the fight.
Jim Gray hooked me up. Jim Gray hooked me up. That's why I was in front. But look, man, you know you're a big boxing fan. I talk to these guys all the time. Just love the sport. People's hearts give out quick. Your soul, you literally are taking a man's heart away. And Andrew Ruiz took Joshua's heart away, and I don't believe, my personal opinion is that they fight at Wembley and Joshua's trying to get all those belts back again, the same thing's going to happen, in my opinion, unless he tags Ruiz with the punch early and finishes him, because Joshua's heart isn't the same as Deontay Wilder's.
So if
Deontay Wilder would literally give his life. That's why he says the crazy stuff he says, CP. What does he say? He wants a body, he says. Yeah. You've heard that. He doesn't really mean that.
So if a guy take your will, that's it. Ruiz took Joshua's will. So when you get the rematch, they already said the rematch is coming. So when you get the rematch, can Joshua come out and redeem himself? Because even if it's a knockout, you didn't make Ruiz quit. Now you got to go to a third fight. Yeah, at what point do we see Wilder?
Wilder's got Fury first. He's got Ortiz before that. So Wilder has two fights he's got to get through. I think this obviously cost everybody a lot of money. Dumb move by not getting it done. And Ruiz now, listen to this, and this is something they kind of mentioned, but nobody paid attention. And they asked Eddie Hearn, Joshua had 4 belts. He had WBA, IBF, WBO, and IBO or something. Nobody cares about the IBO. And guess what the IBF wants to do? They want Ruiz to fight the mandatory. They don't want him to fight a rematch with Joshua. And if he doesn't fight that mandatory, they will take that belt away from Ruiz. And now Ruiz has 3 titles. And now it gets further splintered because they're going to let Dillian White and somebody fight for the IBF belt. That's what they're fixing to do right now. So if they can sign and Eddie Hearn mentioned that after the fight, if they can sign a rematch quickly, then maybe those organizations will allow that to happen. Because I think it's pretty cool when somebody's got all the belts. It makes it simpler to figure out. I mean, but he took his heart. I don't say he needs a heart transplant, but I don't know. You saw it. Hey, he didn't want no more.
Get the Guy Lifeline. Episode 40 in the books. Larry Michael joined us. Thanks for blessing the set.
Thank you, brother.
26 minutes. Join us again for episode 41. Hopefully the team will be back.